Speaking of bullies, let's turn to China. And this is about India's neighbors, three of them in particular: Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and a constant headache, that is China. Beijing is making moves in South Asia. It is trying to cozy up to India's other neighbors. It is reaching out to Bangladesh's military. For the first time ever, China and Bangladesh will conduct joint military drills. The exercise is called Golden Friendship 2024. Since China is known for its debt trap diplomacy, this name reeks of irony. The drills will begin next month. Meanwhile, China is also courting India's southern neighbor, that is Sri Lanka. They're expecting a record Chinese investment. Beijing plans to build a $4.5 billion oil refinery with a domestic focus, apparently. This is a direct challenge to Indian investment plans, and it shows how Beijing keeps undermining New Delhi. Here's our report.
In early May, China will be sending troops to Bangladesh. No, China isn't starting another territorial dispute. This time, the troops have been invited. They are going to Bangladesh for joint military drills, codenamed China-Bangladesh Golden Friendship 2024. China has been investing heavily in Bangladesh. Beijing has spent $25 billion across a number of projects. China has sent Bangladesh tanks, fighter jets, and submarines as well. It's been investing in every part of Bangladesh's defense: land, air, and sea. So, as a reward, Dhaka has finally allowed Chinese troops to visit. A contingent will take part in the Golden Friendship exercises. These are the first ever China-Bangladesh joint drills. So, what will they be doing? Apparently, practicing counter-terrorism scenarios. Chinese media has given two examples: rescuing hostages from hijacked buses and cleaning up terrorist camps. China says this is to deepen practical exchanges and cooperation. Now, China probably won't send troops if a Bangladeshi bus gets hijacked. And as far as terror camp cleanups are concerned, China has been friends with Pakistan for a long time. So, terror cleanups aren't exactly their specialty. These drills are just the latest example of the China-Bangladesh military ties. But Dhaka should be wary, because Chinese gold can transform into never-ending debt before you know it. Just look at Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka had a financial meltdown in 2022. They defaulted on a foreign debt payment. The economy crashed. People took to the streets. They ousted the president. It was chaos. And partly to blame were Chinese loans. It was a classic example of Chinese debt trap diplomacy. But it seems Sri Lanka has forgotten those lessons.
China accepted Sri Lanka's future progress and development, new areas of cooperation. Hambantota Port is at the tip of our country. Beyond Hambantota Port, it is the Indian Ocean and no other country, no other island, right down to the South Pole. Please remember. So Sri Lanka also looked forward and developed Hambantota.
That was Sri Lanka's Prime Minister, Dinesh Gunawardene. He was in China last month, inviting more Chinese investments. One such investment will affect the Hambantota port. It's Sri Lanka's second largest port, and China controls it. The port was leased to China for 99 years. This port will be getting some China-funded upgrades. China's state-run oil refiner, Sinopec, plans to build a refining plant in the port complex. It'll cost $4.5 billion to set up. Now, India was planning to build a fuel pipeline that would go to Sri Lanka, directly supply the country with Indian fuel. So, is this Chinese refinery being built for the people of Sri Lanka or to undermine India? At every turn, China is courting India's neighbors, showering them with gifts and then bankrupting them with debt. New Delhi should keep an eye out, or it might find itself surrounded by countries beholden to Beijing.